This podcast is produced and managed by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, Australia's independent video and podcast company. We do the podcasting hard bits so you don't have to. We make podcasts easy. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.
You are listening to episode 3 of Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
Let's talk well-being and mental health. Whether you're an aspiring coach, content creator, or podcaster, you need to take care of yourself as well. Wellness Friday with Coach Joy Karen.
What's up, pod friends? This is Joy Karen, your creativity coach. Wellness Friday is a weekly show created for podcasters and content creators. This show aims to talk about creativity, inspiration, and overall well-being so you can keep doing what you love most. I would like to thank my podcast management group, Kangaroo Fern Media Lab, and Nico and the rest of your team for this wonderful platform so I could spread the spark of creativity all over. In that way, more and more people can keep doing what they love most as they hashtag sparkle within. Today, we're going to continue our conversation about perfectionism. Last episode, we talked about that mindset that has plagued a lot of content creators and podcasters alike. And that is the nothing is ever good enough mindset. So today, we're going to zoom in on that so we can know how to abandon it, and now we can focus on our growth. This podcast is created for podcasters and content creators in mind. This is your space where we can talk about the highs and lows of content creation and how to keep that spark of creativity alive. In this highly rewarding career, there is a demand to be constantly unique and creative. Feelings of emptiness, boredom, and mental exhaustion can take a huge toll in our professional and personal life. May these short weekly talks and weekly show spark that creativity in you so you can continue to shine brilliantly. All right, let's begin. 30 takes, sometimes more. 30 takes before I finally say that I'm satisfied with what I have. Either when I'm recording a podcast or creating a short video or anything, even a reel. I've spent so much time in tweaking, revising, and redoing an original idea. And then at the end of it all, I get so tired after recording. It got past the point of improvement. It reached that clip of perfectionism inching to death. I admit that many, like you and me and other content creators, experience this. It was rooted in the fear of imperfection, that false belief that the world doesn't deserve anything less than perfect, that the world doesn't need to see my creative work that is not on point. In my life, I've encountered and met so many people who are also like that. I was surrounded with people who work ungodly hours, endless overtimes, who chug mugs and mugs of coffee just to keep them awake and just to get the job done perfectly. And I've seen it. I've seen this in my parents, at work, with my friends, almost everywhere I go. So it somehow became a norm. And it turned out to be this unhealthy obsession. And it took me quite some time to deal with it. When I was an educator way back in 2009, I've seen countless teachers begin the year looking all motivated and prepped, all inspired, and then halfway during the semester, they turn into burnout, anxiously walking zombies because of overwork, overtime, and excessive stress. It may be that there are a lot of factors that are at play in this kind of situation. But if you come to think about it, content creators of all kinds go through this phase at one point or another. When you start off, you're all excited and hopeful. That's a given. And of course, ideas pop up very, very easily. And everything you see inspires you to see the connection. And the words just simply flow and come easily to you. But at some point, that excitement wanes off. For some, this is where it starts to become a chore rather than a passion. This is the point where burnout starts, most especially when we don't manage it at this point. And this is also the point where we start losing the spark. Imagine it as a graph and it starts to tip, but in this case, it tips downwards. So what happened? How come? The fear of imperfection plays a role in this phase of a creator's journey. We push ourselves too much to the brink of insanity just to create that perfect content that satisfies our taste or satisfies the inner critic. This fear feeds and drives on self doubt. So the more that you feed it, the more self doubt grows. The more we doubt ourselves, the more unsatisfied we get. When we accept the assumption that what we do must always be perfect, you will never be able to help yourself to measure up. It's not an upward path, but rather it's like you're in a hamster wheel. You feel like you're moving, but you're definitely not going anywhere. Every creative work is an act of being vulnerable, of an act of vulnerability. Instead of seeing it as imperfect, it helps to see it as an authentic act or being authentic. Like what I've mentioned in the past episode, I've mentioned you do you. And what we really are, and the fact really is that we are imperfect, we are vulnerable, we are raw. There is that magnetic attraction when we come from that very special place called authenticity. It is that secret recipe, that secret sauce. Why a lot of content creators resonate so much with their audience and are still in the game. But the moment we doubt ourselves, that's when it gets very, very tricky. When we start to doubt ourselves, starts to have tantrums because the heart knows better. On the other hand, the brain will try its very best to prove what you're thinking. So if you're doubting yourself, the brain will find more and more reasons for you to doubt yourself even more. So what can we do at this point? Be vulnerable, at least to yourself. Acknowledge that you are lost, that you're confused, that you're uninspired, that you're tired, or whatever negative feeling that you're currently feeling at the moment. Do not fool yourself at this moment, most especially in a creative crisis. Just take a moment and observe. Ask yourself the following questions. What am I truly feeling at this moment? Let's say, all right, Joy, are you tired? Then go take a rest. Are you thirsty? Go grab and get some water. Are you hungry? Go get food and feed yourself. What emotions are you experiencing at this point? Is it anticipation? Is it excitement? Is it disgust? Or is it joy? How is it manifesting in your body? Do you have headaches, migraines? You can't sleep. You're sweaty and everything that is happening in your body. Try to identify all of those things.
We will be right back.
Are you passionate to help other podcasters? Wanted to connect to growth-minded podcasters and service providers? The Podcast Creators Society is now open for new members. Head over to www.podcastcreatorsociety.com/community. Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com www.kangaroofern.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
And most especially, how is it manifesting in your behavior? How do you deal with yourself? How you talk to yourself? And how you talk to other people? Going through this activity is really helpful. It can help you identify what is real and what is purely assumption. Addressing the feelings and emotions can help you manage them, and instead of dismissing it altogether, you're facing it head on. This is a small yet crucial step in your journey so you can keep on doing what you love most. And yes, it's all part of the game, friends. All right, so let's continue this conversation next week. So I hope to see you then. And if this sparks something awesome in you, let me know. I'll be glad to hear from you. And you can connect with me through my Facebook account, Joy Karen, the Creativity Coach. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us. And if you feel that this is worth sharing, please go ahead, so we can reach more and more podcasters and content creators who need that spark of creativity, inspiration, and overall well-being, so you can continue doing what you love most while you #sparkle within. Till next episode, friends. Bye.
Are you ready to finally start your own podcast? Maybe you already have one, but need a podcast manager to help you level up. We're here for either. Book a call at www.kangaroofern.com. www.kangaroofern.com.